Hi, this is my prediction for the Chisora David Haye fight. Before I go into the prediction, I need to come back and talk about my previous prediction in regards to Chisora versus Vitaly Klitschko. Now, a lot of you people, boxing experts, said that they'll believe that Chisora was going to get flattened, knocked out in a round, and all the rest of it. And I believe that Chisora would put the pressure on Vitaly, push him back, and cause him a lot of problems and give him a tough fight. In fact, he ended up giving Vitaly the toughest fight he's had since Lennox Lewis. So, and bear in mind that, what's his name? Derek Chisora had only had a handful of fights. I mean, what, 16, 17 fights. He's fighting against a world champion who's had years of experience. So that's not an excuse, but I think he fared himself very well. Proved in the fight he could take a good punch. He proved he could go 12 rounds. You know, work rate and cutting Vitaly off. I think that comes with experience, ring generalship that Vitaly has had, and that's been why he's been a champion for so long. But I would like to see that same Chisora, the unbeaten Chisora, the Chisora that before he was going to fight Tyson Fury, and the two fights with Vladimir had been cancelled. I'd like to have seen what would have happened that night had that Chisora fought Vladimir, because I don't think Vladimir can take a punch as good as Vitaly. I don't think Vladimir is as gutsy as Vitaly. I don't think Vladimir's a fighter. He likes to keep things at long range and control distance. So, it's always been my feeling that Vladimir pulled out of those two fights because Chisora was somebody that he didn't feel he could just walk and blast out. He felt that Chisora would have been a real challenge, and I think that the Vitaly fight showed that. Since I've been away, I've been fortunate to have met another YouTube boxing expert in the name of Apollo James Jackson, which I'll put a link somewhere in this video. Apollo James Jackson's good man, good lad. He's 21, I think 21, 22 years old, and he's been going around interviewing all the boxers from around the world, you name them, past, present, managers, promoters, you name it, he's done it. I was fortunate to have met up and had a meal. Nando's, this seems to be the place to meet. Met Chisora there, as I've said in a previous video, and yeah, we met, and I was able to go and visit, see Don Charles, who's a really great guy, good trainer, who also is the trainer of Derek Chisora and the trainer of Ali Adams, who unfortunately lost recently. I got to meet Ali Adams, again a very nice guy. I thought that he was doing well against his fight against Audley until he got tagged with that left hand, and of course Audley closed the show, as any good fighter should do. Anyway, let's go on to this fight between Mr. Chisora, Mr. Haye. Now, it's a very interesting fight, I think, because it's going to need David to be able to keep Chisora off with a good jab. He's going to have to move a lot. His fitness is going to be tested. And put it this way, as Hatman quite rightly said, and I have to agree with him, if Chisora can walk through David Haye's punches, if he can walk through those punches, David is in a lot of trouble for this fight, and I'll tell you why. I don't think David has it inside. He's not very good working on the inside. I don't think David's got a very good jab. I think you need a good jab to keep Chisora off balance and keep him going. And of course, Chisora has fought very well against three tall men. You know, he's been fighting giants. Let's think about it. He's fought Helenius. He beat Helenius. Vitaly. He gave Vitaly a tough fight. And then he fought Tyson Fury, but everyone knows he was out of shape. And even then, he was out of shape. Went to 12 rounds to Tyson Fury. And, you know, even though Tyson won on points, he gave Tyson a lot of problems. So if he's given the big guys problems, a cruiserweight coming up to heavyweight, for me, David carries speed of punch, and his heavyweight power is pretty overrated because he hasn't really. I mean, who's he knocked out at heavyweight? I mean, you could say he already has some fight, but even though he didn't knock Audley out, Audley got back up, and as I said, if he doesn't hit hard enough, and I suspect that Chisora will come in, bobbing and waving, cutting the ring down, and I can see him coming with a cross-arm defense coming into this fight. Cross-arm defense, just catching David's punches, closing the ring down, and turn it into a brawl, a real nasty brawl. And David's gonna have to fight on this one, and I think Adam Booth knows David has to fight on this one. David always talks about people saying that, you know, take him into the second half of the fight, and it doesn't work anymore as a tactic. Well, I would question that, because with Vladimir had a good jab, but, you know, David was able to move quite easily out of the jab, out of the way. I think that he's going to have problems against Chisora, who's going to keep on coming at him. And I'm not sure about David's chin in the heavyweight division. I mean, he got dropped by Monty Barrett. Now, if Monty Barrett can drop David Haye, I think that Chisora punches hard enough to give David all the problems. The only way I can see David, you know, blasting Chisora out of there is for some reason David's speed of punch catches Chisora off balance. But I really can't see how David wins this fight. I mean, I'm saying, oh, David's going to win the fight, he's going to knock him out in a couple of rounds. Based on what? Who was David knocked out at heavyweight in a couple of rounds, apart from Audley, who Audley said himself that he wasn't in shape. And moving on to Audley, going back to Audley, I think that, to me, he is, from what I see of him and his fight against Ali Adams, he seemed to fight with only one hand, and then he caught him with that one punch. I don't think that's going to be enough against someone like David Price. I think David Price punches too hard. The only way I can see Audley winning the fight against David Price is if he lands one on the chin. But he'll have to land his before Price lands his. So that's another interesting fight. But I can see Price taking that fight for many reasons. I think that Audley's work rate isn't as high as it should be. Another interesting fight on the horizon. Not fight, comeback. Chris Eubank is talking about making a comeback. Now, could you imagine Chris Eubank back as a light heavyweight? Interesting. Let's see who else we could talk about. Carl Froch and Butte. I made awful prediction. I thought that Butte would have ended up stopping Froch, and I thought that Butte looked bigger, he looked stronger. That's what I thought, and I thought that he was just going to finish off what Ward had done, because I just believe that against a good boxer, Froch is vulnerable. I thought that Butte would have backed Froch up, bullied him, and stopped him late with body shots. But Froch, all credit to him, he blasted away at Butte, and I don't think, as again I agree with Hatman, I don't think that Froch hits as hard as you know, he talks about hitting as hard as I think Butte's chin isn't as good as it should be. I think the other guys Froch has fought have had, you know, world-class chins. So I feel sorry for Butte, to be honest. I mean, he's talking about having won a rematch of Froch, but unless he gets a chin transplant and finds some way of getting a decent defense and has a real, I don't know, I can't see Butte beating Froch any time, any place, anywhere. A rematch against Kessler looks on the cards. Kessler looks very dodgy. He looked really dodgy against Alan Green, and I don't know what Alan Green was doing. He had Kessler out of there in the first round. He stood back and admired his work and got knocked out of a left hook in the 4th or 5th round. I don't know what Alan Green was thinking about. That was Alan Green's opportunity to come back and prove himself to be a world-class operator, and I don't know what happened there. Anyway, let me know your thoughts and your views. And big shout out to Hatman. Love your videos, man. Wicked. You should be a Sky commentator. Get with Adam Smith and put you on ringside. It'd be great. And shout out to Apollo James Jackson. He's doing some great work, doing some fantastic interviews. And you guys need to get behind Apollo James Jackson. He's doing some fantastic work, and he could be the voice between the YouTube viewers and the boxers. So get behind him. Thanks a lot. Bye.